Very good evening. Welcome to the Nations League final live here on LFS this evening as we conclude this fantastic week that we've seen from the UEFA Nations League. Earlier today, France claimed third place after beating Germany by 2-0 in Stuttgart. But it is the big event, the main event of this season's competition, and that is Portugal against Spain in the 2025 UEFA Nations League final. The reigning holders, Spain, who won it on penalties against Croatia last time around, they want to do it once again, but our inaugural winners, Portugal, back in 2019, they're looking for their second title in this competition. We will see which one of these two will come away with this illustrious trophy this evening. And the man who helped his team win it back in 2019, Pepe, has eventually taken himself out of that Portugal backline after many a year involved with the Portuguese defence and the national team. And the trophy is carried out onto the field as all the flags of every participating nation in the Nations League is shown across the Munich pitch this evening. Let's have a look at these two teams then, because we'll get the team news in a moment for you. But against each other, it's very interesting to look at these two, and especially this. For Spain. Spain are unbeaten in all of the last 5 competitive games between the sides since 2004. The last meeting between the two teams came in the group stages of this competition back in the last edition, and Spain won by 1-0. Alvaro Morata scoring the winner in that group stage game. That was, of course, the campaign that Spain won the competition. Spain are unbeaten in 19 straight games since a 1-0 defeat against Colombia in a friendly back in March of last year. But Portugal have lost just 1 of their 9 Nations League games this campaign. That was the first leg of their quarter-final against Denmark, where they lost 1-0. But they have won 6 and drawn 2 of their other 8 games in the competition this season. So they have been very competitive and very hard to find a way past all campaign. Same can be said, of course, for the remaining holders, who absolutely had a cracker with France in the semi-final, of course, on Thursday night, if you remember. These are the results, the bracket that we've seen. The third place playoff took place today. France winning by 2-0. In that one, Kylian Mbappe with his 50th goal for his country. And Michael Olise, set up by Kylian Mbappe, made it 2-0 for Les Bleus. So back on track are the French side, but Germany trundling away in their home campaign like they did in the Euros last year, unfortunately for them, finishing 4th out of a possible 4 in these finals for them. But tonight it's Portugal against Spain, two sides that border each other geographically, but tonight only one can have the crown, and who will be taking it for the second time in their history. The 4th edition of this competition, the previous 3 has seen 3 new winners. But this time, we're going to have a repeat winner. Will it be Portugal, the 1st and 4th, or will it be Spain, who have won the last 2? We will wait and see for that one tonight as the players enter the fields. We will have, of course, the national anthems as well before we get underway this evening. For Opta, who love to give us loads of graphics, loads of stats and stuff, here is their prediction. For the 90 minutes, now the 90 minutes, this is their prediction. Portugal to win inside 90 minutes, a 26% chance, 23.9% chance that will be a draw after 90 minutes, but 50.1% chance. So 1 and 2 chance basically for Spain to win it in 90 minutes. Of course, a draw in 90 minutes would lead us to extra time and penalties, obviously. That is the rule, of course. Opta doesn't always get it right. Predictions aren't always right, and that's what makes football so intriguing and entertaining. Spain, one of the best teams on the planet at the moment. The European champions, the reigning holders of the Nations League, hopefuls of trying to win the World Cup next year. We will see what comes of this tonight. If Spain or Portugal, which of the two, can claim their second title in this competition. It's great to have you with us this evening. It's been great to have you with us all week. Of course, I do apologise. I have been ill the last couple of days, but we've trudged on. There was some confusion over whether we were going to have this game tonight for you, but we do, and we will move on and we will deliver it for you. So thank you very much for joining us this evening. for this one, because it is one that we're extremely excited about. You know, a Spain side that's pretty looked invincible, as I said, only one defeat in the last 19, unbeaten in the last 19 games competitively, so they do know how to fend off opposition, and have done it multiple times, and obviously most crucially in those Euros last summer. But Portugal are a side where you think they've been there, they've been impressive this season in this competition. Why couldn't they do it under Roberto Martinez, who couldn't get over the line with Belgium for so many years? Can he do it with Portugal this time around? And we'll see if he can tonight. As the Portuguese national anthem is being sung, Jose Mourinho in attendance tonight. Of course, Cristiano Ronaldo got that winner for Portugal in the semi-final against Germany. Spain were leading by 5-1 against France heading into the final 10 minutes of that game in Stuttgart on Thursday night. And in the end, it ended 5-4, and France almost clawed all the way back. So Spain will know they'll need to be much stronger defensively tonight, but Portugal know anything is possible in this competition. Let's have a look at the two teams then for this evening's game, starting with the Portuguese. Diogo Costa starts in goal. João Neves continues at right back in that back four for Roberto Martinez's side. Ruben Dias, Gonzalo Inacio and Nuno Mendes are alongside him in that back four. In midfield, Vitinha, Bernardo Silva and Bruno Fernandes in a midfield three, with Francisco Conceição, who made an incredible introduction when coming on against Germany in the semi-final. Got his goal that equalised in that game. He starts on the right-hand side. On the left side is Pedro Neto, and Cristiano Ronaldo, the captain, leading the Portuguese line tonight. On the bench for Portugal, Sá, Silva, Dalot, Veiga, another Silva, Semedo, Moura, Palhinha, Leao, Neves, Ramos, Trincao, Jota, Felix and Goncalves. So Portugal all ready and set. Spain have had to change colour tonight of their kit. They're in their away strip, or their change strip this evening. Unai Simon is captain, and he continues in goal after making some crucial saves against France in that semi-final in the end that did count to Spain getting through. Change it right back as Oscar Mingueza comes into the side alongside Robin Lenormand, Dean Howson and Marco Correa, who are unchanged from the semi-final. In midfield, Martin Zubimendi alongside Pedri and Fabian Ruiz, who comes into midfield with a front three of Lamine Yamal, Nico Williams and Mikel Oyarzabal. On the bench for La Roja, Raya, Romero, Porro, Cubarsí, Vivian, Marino, Gavi, Olmo, Pino, Baena, Grimaldo, Isco, Fermin, Morata and Aguiloa. So it is Portugal against Spain in the 2025 Nations League final. Who will win? Who will get the crown? We'll find out as kick-off is next. A very good evening. Welcome to LFS this evening for Nations League, the Nations League final live. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. That would be greatly appreciated. Welcome into everybody joining us in the chat. Do get involved. Who you think's going to win? What you think the score's going to be for this one tonight? Looking forward to this. And we've got another big tournament to come from next weekend, so it's non-stop. And we'll be building up to the Club World Cup all week on our shorts on YouTube and on TikTok as we get underway for this Nations League final. Spain played at a 0-0 draw, on course to winning this competition last time round. They won on penalties against Croatia in that final. Today we'll be hoping for a lot more in the attacking output than we did in that final 2 years ago. And something tells me we will get something out of this, a lot more than a 0-0 draw. So Portugal, as I said, in their main strip of red shirts, green shorts. And of course Spain in their away strip, quite interesting, like a dusty yellow, a pale yellow and kind of like bluish shorts. Very interesting strip that they've got on tonight, Spain, with red trimmings, of course. Of course, both teams play in red, so one of them had to change, and Spain the designated away side for this one. Therefore, Samuel says 0-0 first half, so a quiet first half. Samuel's expectant. Lovat says 2-2, 1 goal in extra time. Don't know what next. So you're saying 2-2 after 90 minutes and a goal in extra time, but you don't know who's going to get that goal. Well, there's an issue here early for Conceição, who's gone down. He's holding his right shin, and he is getting back to his feet, but it was a little collision with Marc Cucurella that led to this. We see it again. Conceição lays off the ball, and as Cucurella might have just caught him there a little bit. As we get back underway. A little bit loose from João Neves down that right-hand side, and Spain retrieve, and Ruiz gets them on the move quickly. Here's Nico Williams down the left side, trying to dribble through, but well covered over by Bruno Fernandes, getting back in there for Portugal and retrieving possession. All the way back to Costa. Out to Ruben Dias. He tries to go down the line, but gets a deflection off Pedri, which puts it out for the throw. I've got to say, I don't know why I've got so ill this week. It's just come out of nowhere. But I got to say, today it wasn't always 100% that I was going to be here tonight doing this, but we're here. We're going to enjoy it. We're going to hope to see a very good game of football as, again, João Neves tries to take on too many people. It was Fernandes that was dispossessed in the end. Here's Lamine Yamal. Stolen away from him by Cristiano Ronaldo, tracking back. And now a break on here for Portugal down the left-hand side. It's Neto using that pace again. Chops back inside, does Neto. Whips the ball towards the box, and it takes a deflection. Will be going for a corner. Took a deflection there off Martin Zubamendi. That was Lamine Yamal who won the ball back well down that right-hand side. And then intercepted by Ronaldo. And on the bursting away was Pedro Neto. He did that a lot against Germany. To no real avail, to be honest, Pedro Neto in the semi-final. But already threatening and getting Portugal their first corner tonight. Left-hand side, right-footed it will be. Although the referee has to sort one or two little issues out in the box. Missile goes. Corner will be taken now. Well, Bruno Fernandes was eyeing up for the corner, but it's Conceição that comes over to take it short. Fernandes working the angle, whips the ball in. Tiesta down, the shot is flashed wide by João Neves. There was a call of possibly a foul in there on a Spain player, but the referee allowed it to play on. Lovely from Portugal to work the angle of the corner, delivered in, and chested down at the far post by Bernardo Silva. And whacked on the half volley by João Neves. Cuts across it, and it just goes wide for a goal kick, but much better from Portugal. Very good from that set piece. The Spain players thought that there was a foul, but as I say, the referee played on. So no issue as Nico Williams wins Spain a corner down the the throw in, sorry, down the left-hand side. It seems like everybody's ill at the minute, boss. It's a change in the weather, apparently. Well, I mean, we should be used to it by now, but oh, honestly, it's the most awful thing as well. Simon with the ball. Huyssen out to Cucurella. Huyssen gets rid of it quickly. Up the field it goes. Spain try and keep the ball. Nicely taken down. there by Oyarzabal. Linking up with Pedri. And Oyarzabal working it back into Ruiz. Out wide it goes to Cucurella. Lovely from Spain. Down the left-hand side comes Williams. Up against Diaz. Nico Williams chops it back. Pedri trying to hold it up. Lays it off to Ruiz. Looking to find some space. Rolls it out wide to Cucurella. Left-footed. Whips it back across. But not cleanly cleared away by Vitinha. Good ball control from Spain. Another ball in behind for Cucurella on the overlap. Cut back again. That was a little bit flat. And Portugal can deal with that situation as Costa clears. That was positive from Spain. A little bit dangerous from Portugal's point of view. The threat of the overlap from Marco Correa. Thomas says Spain is winning this. Boss thinks Portugal. House. Again, the space out the left-hand side for Cucurella. Decides to swap it back inside this time. All the way across to Robin Lenormand on that right-hand side. That's a little bit sloppy from Spain in possession. Fabian Ruiz trying to play it back to Dean Howson as centre-back and completely overhit it. That's given Portugal a little bit of a cheap throw down that right-hand side. Spain were just in simple possession and architects of their own downfall on that occasion in losing possession. Neves takes the throw in short, but Spain do well there with Pedri and Nico Williams to win the Spanish throw. Ooh, a little bit loose from Unai Simon on a fabulous press from Portugal. And Ronaldo on the press. A decent battle so far in the first 8 minutes. Expect them to both try and just feel each other out, get to the grips of what each other are trying to do in and out of possession. And of course, both managers will be keeping a very close eye on what the opposition is doing. And find a way to try and exploit that. Exploit their flaws. That was nice work down the left here from Portugal. Nuno Mendes. But just overhead it towards Pedro Neto. That one goes out of play for a throw. Well, that was one thing Portugal were kind of prone to in the semi-final, was that sloppy pass every now and again, and them and Germany were both guilty of it at times in the semi-final. Was just a sloppy pass here and there and just disjointed them quite a lot. Of course, they did get over the line and they completely were the better side in the second half of the semi-final, but there was just this lingering kind of inconsistency with the passing, and against Spain that's something you have to be very wary of. Thomas says, fun fact, Spain is the first team to reach 3 Nations League finals. They are indeed 3 in a row. They lost to France in 2021, beat Croatia in 2023, and are now in this one in 2025. Again, good passing again from Spain in between the lines. Nico Williams a little bit more narrow. Lays it through to Oyarzabal. Trying for the cutback, but that was well blocked by the Portuguese defender. And it's gone for the corner to Spain. It was Inacio that time that got across to Mikel Oyarzabal. He had a lovely run in behind, and it all came from Nico Williams just being a little bit more narrow. A little bit more inside, and worked out well. Corner taken short by Pedri. Worked it out to Yamal, who delivers in. It's cleared away. Nico Williams sweeping well to receive it back as Portugal tried the breakaway, but Spain had it under control. And continue to have control of the possession. That is one area where, if you are to find a way past Spain, Portugal will try and target is the counter-attack. We've seen that quite a lot. That's kind of where France got their joy out of Spain in the semi-final. Towards the end of the game, obviously, Spain had kind of stepped off the mark, but a couple of their goals were on the breakaway, and that's where Portugal can try and exploit Spain a little bit tonight. But again, there's no doubting what Spain can do to you. Their threat is known to everyone, and a mystery to none, really. As Bruno Fernandes was tugged a little bit there, so it will be a free kick. Ronaldo a little bit caught in possession, and Spain now have a counter-attack on here. Oyarzabal was caught in between two minds. The ball's fallen nicely though to Lamine Yamal. Drifted into the box, Yamal, but well covered by Bruno Fernandes and Nuno Mendes, although Yamal snipped it back again. And he's dribbling away from challenges and gets completely cleaned out. Lamine Yamal. Bruno Fernandes arguing the claim, but he was cleaned out there, the teenager. I mean, incredible work rate. Loses the ball, wins it back off Nuno Mendes, and then charges away, skips past one, skips past another, and then just gets stood on by Bruno Fernandes. It's definitely a foul. And a free kick to Spain. That was lovely from Lamine Yamal. Free kick, not quite on the edge of the box, a yard or two away from the edge, so about 20 yards out, you would say. Quite a bit to the right of the box, so it will benefit a left footer, of which Lamine Yamal certainly has a left foot, that he can whip into the net. And Pedri might be an option to cross the ball as well, is another option. Let's see what they do here, Spain. First real threatening set piece of the game for them. Pedri leaves it. It will be Yamal, who got too much height behind it and couldn't get it dipping back towards goal. Goal kick. Again, he got his foot underneath it. He got the height behind it, but in the end, too much height. And it was nowhere near dipping anywhere near Diogo Costa's goal. So no real threat in the end for Portugal there. Costa with a long kick. That long kick goes straight out of play. Spain can retrieve. Portugal with a little press there in the midfield. It almost worked as they chipped the ball over the top, but again, Spain with a superiority with their defenders. Williams back to Cucurella and across to Huysen. Nyla Norman. Well, one of the things that Spain certainly have on their mind, they might be one of the best teams in the world at the moment, but they're certainly not an ageing team. Still a very, very young side. Lovely touch by Nico Williams as he bursts away down the left here. He's got João Neves for company. He cuts it back. The shot. Dribbling and going wide from Pedri. Perfect from Nico Williams down the left. And the cutback was perfect. But Pedri's dribbling effort just goes wide. Again, he's completely unmarked on the edge of the box. A lovely cutback by Nico Williams. And he just tries to direct it into the far corner. Just rolls it with the right foot. Too far away from Diogo Costa. And the reason why is Costa had his angles right. And the ball just went wide. Yamal out muscling Bernardo Silva on that side. And brought down by Bernardo Silva. But no foul, said the referee. And Lamine Yamal blocking the ball, giving Portugal a throw. A little bit impatient though, Portugal. They get the ball back in play, but then Spain are just easily retrieving it. A little bit impatient there. That was a big moment for Pedri though. Seen that quite a bit for Spain. It's the way they like to play. Get their wingers wide. If they can't make the inside run, then have runners from midfield on the edge of the box for the cutback, and that's what was alive there. Here is Nico Williams again. 2 for company. Cuts it back to Zubimendi. And now Ruiz. Mingueza. Ruiz. Yamal. Ooh, a little bit short there from Yamal, but the switch ball out to Nico Williams is kept in play. And he takes a lovely touch. Cucurella trying to create the space. Williams! Not too far away from a curler. That wasn't too far away. Fabulous again from Nico Williams. It looked like it was a ball switched across the pitch. Wasn't going to stay in. Looked like it was impossible to keep in play, but he chests it inside. He takes a beautiful touch to set up the running chance. And then as Cucurella on the underlap creates the space, he tries to curl it to the far corner. And it just goes outside of the perimeters of the goal. And it goes behind for a goal kick. But that was, again, incredibly threatening from the Spaniard down that left-hand side. And Spain starting to take vast control of this game now. It's just been growing in the last 5-10 minutes, and every time you look at the pitch and what's happening, it's Spain that have the ball. As it's stolen away this time though by Nuno Mendes. Fizzes it out wide to Pedro Neto, a rare breakaway for Portugal here. Ronaldo coming wide on the left. Has to work it back. Does Cristiano Ronaldo to Vitinha. Ruben Neves. Not Ruben Neves, Ruben Dias. Apologies. Back to Vitinha. Dias again. Working it out wide to Conceição. Fernandes. Just keeping it moving, Portugal. A little bit of possession is maybe what they need just to settle back into the game. They've been a little bit choppy. Although that's not a great ball. Forward. Howson creating a little bit of a head tennis game, and the one ending that quite significantly was Gonzalo Inacio, who came crashing through the back of a Spaniard in the midfield. It was Oyarzabal that was the one that he crashed into Gonzalo Inacio, and it was certainly a foul, and he's got himself a yellow card for that overzealous challenge. Mustn't like tennis, Gonzalo Inacio, as he was not having any of that head tennis game that was going on in the midfields. He gets himself an early yellow. Portuguese centre back. So a free kick on the halfway line for Spain, or just inside their own half actually. Our referee this evening is Sandro Scherer from Switzerland. The VAR is Fidei San, also from Switzerland. So a Swiss officiating team tonight for this one. Spain get them all moving again. 20 minutes gone in this final. It's been a lot of Spain control, a lot of Spain attacking. Portugal, a lot of their play's been out of possession so far. A lot of defending going on from Portugal. Cucurella. Oh, lovely little back heel there, setting off the Spanish attack now. Down the right-hand side comes Lamine Yamal. Chips it in with his left foot. Bobbling around, not cleared away by Portugal. and thumped into the back of the net by Martin Zubimendi. It was awful from Portugal. 3 or 4 times they had the chance to clear their lines. And could they do it? No, they couldn't. And Martin Zubimendi pokes home to give the European champions and the reigning Nations League champions the lead. They've been knocking on the door for the first 20 minutes. And finally they find a way to open that door and take the lead. Portugal 0, Spain 1. It's been coming. But that defending from Portugal will leave Roberto Martinez's head in his hands. All of their own downfall. It was beautiful work to get it to Zubimendi on the run. Started the attack. He fed it out wide to Lamine Yamal. Yamal chopped inside. He kind of toe poked it, chipped it into the box. It was poor defending. They couldn't get it clear. 2 or 3 men around it. And Portugal unable to clear their lines. And Spain take advantage. And now have this early lead. Portugal 0, Spain 1. And Martin Zubimendi the 1. It pokes it home. Although there is a VAR check. There was a VAR check. The check is complete. It's a goal. There was a check for maybe a possible handball or a possible offside. But all have been cleared. And the European champions do lead. Do apologise. Excuse me a moment while I sort out a nose issue. Illness, it's what comes with it. Although, hold on, Portugal trying to come forward. Wanting a foul. Ronaldo won't get one. Goal kick to Spain. Apologies for that. You know what it feels like. You need to blow your nose, and it had to be done. And no perfect time. And just after a goal has been scored. That's huge from Spain. It's what they needed. It's why they started this game so well, with a lot of the possession, a lot of the rhythm, and the sharpness in their play. Portugal just looked impatient. They just looked a little bit frantic. Weren't able to settle. Portugal, and it just was clearly evident within that goal that they just couldn't settle, they couldn't clear their lines, and Spain turned that moment of chaos into pure calm and had the coolness of mind, did Martin Zubimendi, to poke it home and give Spain the lead. That's his second international goal of all time. And he scored his only other international goal, Martin Zubimendi, in this Nations League campaign. And his 19th cap for his country. He adds a second goal to his tally, the midfielder. His last goal came against Denmark in a 1-0 win in the group stages. That was the only goal of that game. Now Nico Williams is on the break for Spain. Down this left side, he's chopped past Ruben Dias, who did very well. Ruben Dias. And he hit the ball off Nico Williams last, so it will be a goal kick, but Spain having threat in behind again, but Portugal dealing with it on that occasion. So far, looking at the passing, the passes, there's just no comparison. 147 to 82 in Spain's favour, so Spain popping it around a lot more. They've had 64% of the ball so far, have Spain, but a long way to go. Oh! What a strike from Nuno Mendes! Low, hard, bottom corner. Portugal are level. Forget about Spain's dominance. Portugal, like they did against Germany, bouncing back from 1-0 down. They've barely had any chance at the Spanish goal in the first 25 minutes. But Nuno Mendes, with a really good effort with his left foot, low and hard, into the bottom right corner. Fabulous finish from the left back. Is Ronaldo offside to win the build-up? That's the big question. The Spain players think so, but we will wait and see what VAR has to say. Is it too early in the move to call it? Look at this from Nuno Mendes, given the time, given the space, just a chop into the box, onto his left foot. And he has the clear corridor in front of him to find the bottom corner. Beautiful from the Portuguese. And they're right back in this one. Although VAR are checking for the possible offside in the build-up with Ronaldo, whether he's on or off might decide whether Portugal are level or not. Ronaldo is trying to make a claim, but it's not up to the referee, really. It's up to VAR whether they will change it. Of course, Fadai San, a VAR official. Can Nuno Mendes get the leveller? He has. And Portugal are level. And Nuno Mendes with his first for Portugal. 37 caps and his first goal for his country, the 22-year-old. Portugal won, Spain won. The competition is well and truly on in this final. What a response from Portugal, though. Just like they did against Germany in that semi-final. Nuno Mendes the one to level it tonight for them. Yathabal trying to nip it away from João Neves, but no success on that one. Goal kick. That certainly changed the mood inside the Allianz Arena. It was the Spain fans, the Spain side of the field that was jumping. And now it's the Portuguese side, although Spain want to respond quickly themselves. Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams couldn't direct it past Diogo Costa. Yamal dropping it a little deeper. Williams with it, receiving the ball inside, and Costa came flying out for it. And just put Nico Williams off and trying to control it. We see this offside call again. He is onside, Ronaldo. He's quite clearly onside, but it is not completely obvious to the naked eye. But it's clear from the technology that he was onside, and therefore it is a goal, of course. Vitinha. Quite entertaining so far, this one. It's better for the competition as well that Portugal equalised so quickly, is that, you know, Spain taking that lead and the control and the dominance they had in the first 20 minutes. It could have added to a second and maybe just taking firm grip of this game like they did against France, but Portugal responding so quickly, just one gives them a lot of confidence, but it also just resets everything for Spain to have to go again, making it even more competitive this final. Not that we expected anything less than that. That crossfield ball there from Zubimendi towards Mingueza was a little bit loose. Goes out for the throw. Long ball over the top here for Portugal. Unai Simon comfortably retrieves it in his box there. There's been no other goal, just to confirm, It is still 1-1. Here's Nico Williams, though, trying to add a second for Spain. Dribbling his way through again, and well blocked by João Neves at right back there. Will be a Spain corner. Got to say, for a player who doesn't naturally play left back or right back, sorry, João Neves, he's had a torrid night so far, to be honest. Look on against Nico Williams, as many do. Corner chicken short again by Spain. So back out to Pedri, who whips it into the box all the way through. It's fallen again. Again, Portugal just not able to clear their lines again from that corner. Still alive here, right about the edge of the box. Bit of head tennis into the box. Again, not fully cleared, as Cucurella was bundled to the ground, but the referee says play on, as Spain still have the ball in the Portuguese half here. Yamal. Firmly challenged by Conceição. It will be a throw. Tennis stances. Are you covering? Yes, we are covering the Club World Cup. Starts on Sunday. Won't be covering every game, of course, because some of them are like 3 in the morning, which no one is going to be up and watching. But we will be covering quite a few of them. Quite a number of the games, including the live final, of course, which is on the 13th of July, if I'm not mistaken. But we will have a lot of coverage for the Club World Cup. Hope to see you there, anyway. Yamal a little bit loose in possession there. Ronaldo did well to lay it off. And a little bit of a Senegal challenge by Fabian Ruiz there. It's going to get him a yellow card. And it's going to get Portugal a free kick here. Pedro Neto was the one that burst away, and he swung out a leg, did Fabian Ruiz. It's definitely a free kick. And a yellow card for Ruiz. Second yellow card of the game. One apiece for each team. Free kick around about the middle of the field. Just a little further from the centre circle. As the ball fizzed towards the box by Bruno Fernandes. But massively overhit. And a goal kick will come of that. A little bit wasteful from Bruno Fernandes there. See this goal again for Spain. I mean, it's torrid from Portugal. I mean, Lamine Yamal just causes a little bit of chaos getting that ball into the box, and then there's a little touch of Ruben Dias, and the keeper tries to come for it. João Neves gets involved, and none of them clear the ball, and then it just falls beautifully, sweetly for Martin Zubamendi, who can just poke it home. And then the response from Portugal. Beautiful finish by Nuno Mendes into the bottom right corner. So that was a collision between Nuno Mendes and Mingueza on that side, but no foul, said the referee. And there was offside actually against Nuno Mendes. That's why the game was stopped. I was wondering what that was all about. Yeah, he was just made the run a little bit too early there, Nuno Mendes. 35 minutes gone. Portugal 1, Spain 1, so 10 minutes of the first half to go. Been fairly competitive in this first half, both sides showing their threats. Spain more so, but Portugal able to find the finish on their best chance of the game so far. Since that equaliser, it's been a lot more even between the two sides. Vitinha. Down the line it goes. Neto trying to burst away down that side. Can't really get too far away from the defending. Mingueza was on the scene to cover over. And Portugal have to recycle it back into the midfield, which Ronaldo drops into. Just to try and keep the passing and the movement for Portugal. Vitinha finding a little pocket of space. Reverses the ball out wide. Neto. He's got Ronaldo in the box. Neto trying to get an inch of space. Gets it across the box, but it just took too much lift behind it, Neto, and couldn't curl it back in towards Ronaldo. Goal kick. Again, it was a lot better from Pedro Neto. It's just the finishing cross wasn't as good. But the footwork into the lead-up certainly worked him the ample space to get the cross in. Just the execution of the cross was what let him down in the end. And again, runners from midfield for Spain trying to break them away on the transition. Pedri fed out wide here to Nico Williams, who will swing it back into the box. Hit away from the threat of Oyarzabal there. But Pedri drifting out with Nuno Mendes trying to win the ball, but well shielded by Mendes, out for the Portuguese throw. Throw by Nuno Mendes down the left side, but that one sent straight back out for another throw in. Second throw taken in, cleared away. Up the field by Inacio. Again, every time Portugal go a little bit longer, they lose it, although that's a good high press from Vitinha to win it back off Spain, who were a little bit ponderous as they brought the ball down there, and Neto on that left-hand side again. Ball switched across to Conceição, who's not really had much involvement in the game so far. Back to Neves. He's been quite isolated on that right-hand side, Francisco Conceição. Considering he was crucial to Portugal getting back into the game against Germany in the semi-final. A little bit confusing as to why he hasn't got as much service or delivery to his side of the field that you would probably expect him to have. It was good work from Pedri to keep the move going for Spain here. Lamine Yamal down the right side. Back inside to Pedri, who dribbles his way through Ruiz. Gets it now, finding Cucurella. And Cucurella, as he passed the ball off there to Dean Howson, was just clattered into the back of by Francisco Conceição, and that's going to get Spain a free kick. A little bit clumsy there from Francisco Conceição. Zubimendi finds the ball out wide to Nico Williams again. Looked a real threat down that left side, but chops it back inside to Ruiz. Now out again to Nico Williams. Portugal sitting deep, very compact at the moment, not wanting to burst out of shape, allowing Spain to have the ball. Howson stepping up a bit further. Zubimendi. Oh, a little bit heavy in the midfield there, and that was a cheap foul by Mingueza on Bernardo Silva, who was expecting a yellow card for Oscar Mingueza there, but it's not a yellow card. It's a foul, but it's not a yellow. There was no real contact at all there. It's just Bernardo Silva had to evade Mingueza, and he lost his balance as he evaded them. There was no real major contact. It was a foul, just wasn't a yellow card. About 5 minutes or so to go with the first half. Portugal have certainly raised the level since equalising, but you would have to say Spain still looked the more threatening of the two sides to get the next goal. But again, another wasteful pass there from Portugal. Well, gifting Spain possession back again. Not as direct with their moves, Spain. Certainly from the wide areas. Seeing a lot of Lamine Yamal coming back inside, recycling it back into midfield rather than taking on his fullback. It's interesting to see that from Spain's point of view. They're working it well in midfield. Heysen out wide to Cucurella. Apologies for the sniffling. That's what the great illness does to you. Nice work there from Pedri, reversing the ball to Yamal's path, who tried to feed it through for Nico Williams, but well defended by Portugal, who intercepted that pass. Because again, Nico Williams came more central. Almost caused that threat in behind again. Good pressing from Spain to win it back again, though. Lamine Yamal, central now this time, chops away from his man, still holding on to the ball. Feeds it out wide, it goes. Mingueza back inside to Yamal, who couldn't get it off quick enough and was dispossessed. There, Lamine Yamal, as Nuno Mendes is pressured by the teenager again. And the pressing from Lamine Yamal comes out the better as he gets the ball back here for Spain. Wants to try and whip it in again. Deflection. It's awkward for Williams. He's kept it alive as Cucurella gets it. Reverses it. Lovely little combinations as Williams trying to reverse it back inside again, and then a lunging challenge there from Mikel Oyarzabal ends that move and gets Portugal a free kick as he fouled João Neves. Yeah, he tried to win the ball, but he was late. He was Mikel Oyarzabal. He was nowhere near the ball. Simple one for the referee to see, and that was given. The half gets closer to drawing to a close. As I say, it's the wide players for Spain that have a lot of the threat. I mean, it's always the case with Spain. They do target their wide areas and certainly do want to make the most of their fullbacks and their wingers in creating that threat, and then using the runners from midfield to create bodies into the box. It's a good tactic from Spain, and it's been successful up to this point for them in major competition. As Lamine Yamal's family watch on, they've already seen him conquer a lot of boyhood dreams. He's still not officially an adult yet. Lamine Yamal doesn't turn 18 till next month. Spain break away on the counter here. Pedri with the ball through. Oyarzabal rolls it through, and it is a goal. And Spain reclaim their lead. Portugal arguing, complaining, but Mikel Oyarzabal is the one that rolled it underneath Diogo Costa, and Spain retake the lead. Right on the verge of half-time. You couldn't have done it better. Again, complaining are the Portuguese players, but I didn't see anything wrong with it, unless there is something to prove otherwise. But to me, that looked fairly simple. It's Portugal 1, Spain 2. Was there a push in Bernardo Silva? I mean, it looked soft to me, to be honest. And then breaking away. There's no offside. Beautifully timed run. Perfect ball by Pedri. And Oyarzabal just pokes it underneath Diogo Costa, who again comes running out. But runs out. Doesn't have his angles covered this time. And it's a lovely finish by Mikel Oyarzabal, rolling it round the goalkeeper and getting Spain's advantage back again. Portugal 1, Spain 2. And Luis de la Fuente's side look like they're going to have the half-time lead. There was a goal check, but that goal check has been quickly checked and cleared, and the goal will stand. So all 3 goals scored have all had big VAR checks, but all cleared. So no real issues. And Spain will take the lead once again. They probably feel that overall in the half they would probably deserve. Portugal had that little spell just after they'd scored where they were slightly the better of the two teams, but again, since that little spell of 5 minutes, maybe even if that, it's just been Spain that have responded really well and just got back onto the ball again, settled in their play and just built from the back once again like they did from the start of the game, and their patience has paid off really, Spain. We did have 2 additional minutes at the end of the first half, so there's about 20 seconds or something of that left before we hit the half-time break, as there was see that moment again in the lead up to the goal, and then there was no offside from Mikel Oyarzabal. That was quite clear. It was just gorgeous. It's poetry in motion from Spain. It's beautiful. And the pass just perfectly timed, perfectly placed, beautiful weight, fabulous. As there's the half-time whistle from the Swiss referee, who's had a couple of VAR checks to contend with in this first half, but all 3 VAR checks on the 3 goals kept the goals in place. So at half-time, it is Spain who lead. They took the lead in the first 20 minutes when Martin Zubimendi found the back of the nets. Nuno Mendes then equalised just minutes later for Portugal, but it is Spain who head into the break in this final. The reigning holders lead by 2-1. We'll be back for the second half in 15 minutes, but we'll be back with our analysis of that first half in just a couple of minutes. Do stay with us. Welcome back to Nations League Finals live here on LFS this evening for the 2025 live final of the Nations League. It is Portugal 1, Spain 2 at the break. The reigning holders and the European champions have the narrow advantage at half-time, and you would probably say they deserve to have that narrow advantage at half-time. I think they've been the better of the two sides. I think they've looked the more threatening of the two teams and certainly had the better of the chances of the sides, but you got to say Portugal have kept in the fight and certainly not given up on that fight, and it's certainly not won this game yet. We're only halfway through this match, at least anyway, if it stays with an ultimate winner, because we will have extra time and penalties if it is level after 90 minutes. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen, because I'd much rather be getting to my bed, but you never know. Anyway, We will find out what comes of the second half in 11 minutes' time, as the counter says on the top of your screen. But we'll analyse that first half in a moment. But just to remind you of what's coming up, we had a little promo there during the break of what's coming up. And next Sunday, so we're going to have a little break this week. We don't have the transfer show on Friday. That was being delayed till next week because of, obviously, the window will close on Tuesday, the transfer window, so there'll be no transfer show on Friday. But we will have content going up throughout the week, so we won't be keeping you left with nothing to watch or to do during the week. And we'll be building up to the Club World Cup, of course, this week, which starts on Sunday, and that is when our next stream will be live after this one this evening. And our first game in the Club World Cup, we can tell you, will be next Sunday at 5 o'clock, is Bayern Munich against Auckland City. So Bayern, one of the European sides, taking centre stage next Sunday evening. We would have done the very first game of the competition, but it's 1 o'clock in the morning UK time, and I'm just not doing that. I don't know whether you'll be up watching it. I might actually be watching it, but I certainly will not be doing commentary at 1 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, we will have that game at 5 o'clock for you next Sunday. And we will have PSG against Atletico Madrid shortly afterwards, after that next Sunday at 8. So we will be getting off to a very good start next week for the Club World Cup. It's over 30 games we will have live for you across the competition this summer. And of course we will have both semi-finals and the live final guaranteed for you when they come about in mid-July. Right, that first half, you gotta say, from this one, the Nations League final, Spain leading by 2-1 at the half, but you'd have to say Spain were definitely the better of the two sides. I mean, the way they started the first 20 minutes, I think they came out with a lot of control, a lot of possession, a lot of composure in their play. I didn't think they rushed things. They built up from the back. They didn't force the issue too much. They had some early threat down that left-hand side, of course, with Nico Williams, and it continued to cause a threat to João Neves right through the half. But I think Spain's patience paid off in the fact that they got that opening goal, and you know, a little bit of confusion in the Portuguese defence that led ultimately to Martin Zubimendi getting that chance to score the goal for Spain. I think just summed up how Portugal had started the game, really. Lack of composure, lack of control, lack of kind of calmness in the team. And they were just a little bit frantic in the first 20 minutes. And the goal, the situation of the goal really sums that up, and how they just couldn't clear their lines. They were just really kind of like everything was in kind of hyperspeed in a sense, whereas for Spain it was quite the opposite. They'd slowed everything down, and they just focused on what they needed to do, and they were composed in getting the goal. And I think for Portugal it was frantic, but I think the way they responded was very, very kind of impressive and quite positive, certainly for their fans, and that they responded quickly, because as we saw when Spain took the lead against France, they quickly doubled that lead. They were quickly into a 2-goal lead, Spain, and I think for Portugal it was crucial that they got the equaliser, because it kind of set Spain back a little bit, not completely derailing them, but it kind of had them to go, well, we have to restart again, we have to build and restart. And I think after that, all that hard work of getting that opening goal to them being pegged back and then having to build again, it was good from Portugal to try and do that, and to get themselves back into the game, of course, because they'd been pretty much non-existent in the first 20 minutes. It was all Spain, and rare forays forward for Pedro Neto, or even a rare one for even Ronaldo getting forward on a very, very rare occasion in the first 20 minutes. That kind of was their only reprieve, Portugal, until their equaliser, and it was well taken by Nuno Mendes, fabulously worked, and just drilled it into the bottom corner. But again, that equaliser gave Portugal a little bit of confidence, but it helped Spain in that way. It reset them, and it kind of settled Spain and went, yeah, we're not going to have it all our own way in this game. It is a final, and Portugal are a good side. And I'm sure, obviously, they know that to Spain. But what I took from Portugal was they responded well, but then they just couldn't maintain it. You know, a couple of minutes after they equalised, yes, they were looking a bit more comfortable, but then it just returned back to type again a couple of minutes after they'd equalised, and Spain were getting back on top, and Spain had more possession, and it was all Spain starting to get it back again. And I said at 1-1, I said, you gotta say, from what we've seen, it looks like it's Spain that are looking more likely to score the next goal and to take the lead again, because they were being more threatening. They had a lot more possession. They were retaining the ball a lot better. Their passing was sharper and crisper. They were getting their wide players, their threatening players onto the ball. And the momentum was swinging back in Spain's favour after Portugal equalised. And they just really didn't offer too much in response to that, Portugal. So I think there's still a lot of work for Roberto Martinez and his side to do in the second half. Because, one, they have a deficit to try and overcome. But as well, they just need to try and get a grip to this game. Because I think a lot of it has just been a lot of Spain possession, and Spain are comfortable. When they've got the ball, Spain are comfortable. They don't need to have 70% of the ball, but if they have 55 to 60% of the ball, Spain, they're comfortable. They're happy. They're more than happy, because they're not dominating the ball too much where they're just passing it around endlessly, but they're keeping zip in their passes, but they're still having control of the game. So there's that fine balance for Spain, and they found it in that first half, and at the minute it's giving them an advantage. And that second goal just comes from that patience from Spain. You know, the patience has kind of been the watchword for Spain over that first half, is that it took them a bit to get that opening goal, but they got it. And then after Portugal equalised and they were back to square one again, they built again, they worked it, and then they got equaliser just before half time, or the second goal, before half time, to retake the lead. And again, it was wonderfully worked. There was maybe a bit of confusion from Portugal's point of view over to whether there was a foul in the build-up. There wasn't. Bernardo Silva was cleanly challenged, fairly beaten off the ball, and then on the breakaway came Spain, and it was perfectly weighted, perfectly timed from Pedri to feed the ball through. Mikel Oyarzabal timed his run to perfection. I mean, it was just a perfect goal from Spain, and it just summed up how composed they are and how kind of cohesive they are with each other. Certainly. So, yeah, Spain are definitely the side that, at the moment, are leading, and deservedly lead. And I think we'll see what way Portugal respond in the second half. But I certainly think if Spain continue in this vein, and Portugal certainly continue in this vein, I think we only see one winner. But we'll wait and see what Roberto Martinez can do, and see what Spain will have to conjure up as well in the second half, which is just under 4 minutes away. Let's get some chat conversation in. Some comments from the chat. Nick says, come on, Spain will win. Mohammed says, Portugal, please win. Nabin says, Portugal, please win. The boys spot says Portugal will win. A lot of predictions from the chat. Great to see you getting involved with the chat. Thomas says Spain could be the first team to win 2 Nations Leagues in a row. They could be the first team to win 2 Nations Leagues at all, because the 3 previous winners have all been different teams, so they've only 3 different editions and all different winners, so no one's ever won it twice. So Spain could do that tonight. Spain are the reigning holders, by the way. They did win it in 23 when they beat Croatia on penalties. It was a 0-0 draw in that one, but certainly more entertaining, and certainly in front of goal, more entertaining game so far in this final. Welcome in, OJ. Great to have you with us again. Thank you very much for the support. And everybody joining us in the chat this evening, thank you very much for joining us this evening. We'll be back, because we're hot-footing it towards the second half. We'll be back for that second half between Portugal and Spain in the Nations League final in just a couple of minutes. Welcome back to the Nations League final live from the Allianz Arena in Munich. Some changes afoot at half-time for Portugal. So I was guessing Roberto Martinez was going to make a change at half-time, and that is exactly what he's doing. There's a reminder of the bracket for you if you were ever so interested. But this is us ready for the second half. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. If you haven't done so already, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. A double change at half-time for Portugal, so certainly they have to make a change. They have to do something different. So as I said, if it stays as it is, obviously Spain will win it, but in terms of the way the game was going, it was just Spain that had a lot of control, and Portugal just need to do something different. Try something else out. See if they can turn this game in their favour. And that double change for Portugal at half-time. Nelson Semedo and Ruben Neves have come on to the field, replacing João Neves and also Francisco Conceição. So a double change for Portugal at half-time. As the Spain players taking their time to return to the field of play. Fashionably late. The European champions. Leaving Portugal waiting, certainly. They are slowly getting back to the field of play. They're having a conversation in the tunnel. I don't know why they're talking in the tunnel. I mean, come out and play football. Come on. Let's get this final going again. Another 45 minutes at least. Remember, if it is level after 90 minutes, extra time and penalties will be needed to decide a winner, of course. Kind of the old Musketeers kind of motto for the Spain players. All for one and one for all. No one is leaving anybody behind. They're all waiting on everybody being there to re-enter the field. Luis de la Fuente, the Spain head coach, is already out as the players do emerge from the Allianz Arena tunnel for the second half. So Spain certainly keeping us waiting anyway for the second half. The reigning European champions want to have another trophy under their belt. It'll be a cracking last 2 years for them if they could do it. 2023, their first Nations League. 2024, a European Championships. Could 2025 be another trophy-laden year for La Roja? They're currently not playing in red tonight, but that is their famous name. Can they claim victory again tonight? Or can Cristiano Ronaldo and his Portuguese team find a way to reverse the scoreline so far and turn it in their favour? As all the players back on the field. And Swiss referee waiting from the signal from the sideline to restart the game. And there we go. So the second half is underway in Munich. Portugal 1, Spain 2 at the break. Mikel Oyarzabal with a goal just before half-time, giving the European champions a narrow advantage heading into this second half. Portugal making a double change at the break. We'll hope that those two changes can change the scoreline. Here's Nico Williams for Spain. Pedri. A little bit isolated as Portugal get bodies back into shape. One thing Portugal need to do is press Spain a little bit quicker when they do have the ball. Just press them a little bit more aggressively and try and hit them on the counter-attack. That's where they can have the threat with the pace of Pedro Neto down that left-hand side. It's certainly an outlet, and they didn't do that anywhere near enough in the first half. They, again, similar to the game against Germany in the semi-final, is just basically sloppy passing from Portugal let them down, really. An inconsistency with their passing, and I mean, you couldn't talk about a more opposite claim for Spain. You already see a little bit more aggression from the Portuguese press to start the half, but Spain still holding on to the ball. Huyssen out to the far side, it comes to Lenormand, and that was beautifully worked there by Spain into the midfield. Zubimendi scored the opener for Spain tonight, his second for his country, second of this Nations League campaign, of course, for the midfielder from Real Sociedad. And for Spain, it's pretty simple, you know, more of the same, please, I would say. Luis de la Fuente would have said at half-time. He wouldn't have said it the way I did. Probably would have said it in Spanish, but I think the sentiment still stands. I would say that, you know, Spain wouldn't need to do too much different. They were patient, they were controlled, they were composed. They took their moments when they came. They were making good runs. They were looking threatening in the wide areas. I mean, there was really barely any negatives to that first half for Spain, and obviously conceding a goal is a negative, but on the balance of things, you wouldn't say that Spain would be disappointed in any way with that first half performance. But they'll know they'll need to just keep their composure, because remember, they let themselves go a little bit against France and conceded 3 late goals against Les Bleus. They can afford to concede 3 late goals and still win, which was the level of their dominance. That's lovely from Bruno Fernandes! But the flag's gone up. He was ready to run away and celebrate, but the flag went up as quick, and the offside is called. It looked like it should have been offside because it looked very simple from Portugal. Yeah. Fernandes played the ball in behind. He wasn't the one that was offside. It was whoever gave him the ball back was the player that was offside, and he was, quite clearly. So the goal will not stand. And the Spanish champions Barcelona maybe having a little influence on their national team for that high line. And that high line was beneficial to the Spaniards in playing Portugal in an offside position. It was much better from Portugal, nicely worked. Here's Lamine Yamal. And maybe a little bit of a warning sign to Spain that their lead isn't as secure. Well, just because the referee supports Barcelona, even if he does support Barcelona, the referee, it doesn't mean he's going to want Spain to win. Could be a Ronaldo fan for all we know. I mean, I doubt it if he's a Barcelona fan, but you never know. Anything's possible. I don't think the referee, we're not going to start throwing around that the referee's biased at this point. It was a very fair decision. Maybe it's a bit tongue-in-cheek, but we're not going to start throwing those accusations around. Lovely touch from Yamal. Again, well challenged by Nuno Mendes, but Spain keep the ball. To Huyssen. Cucurella. I mean, Portugal applying the press there, and for a moment it looked like Spain were just having fun. It was passing around them, but Cucurella just overstepped his mark a little bit and overrun it, and it went out for a Portugal throw. But again, they're pressing quite intensely, Portugal, and at times Spain can just play through it, which is even more of a worry and a concern. That even when you're applying your intense press, Spain are just able to pop it around and find a way out, find an escape route. Oh, Lamine Yamal's escape route wasn't perfect there, as he had the ball stolen away from him. Vitinha to Ruben Dias. Nice work to step across his man and work it out wide. Down that right hand side it comes. Left footed delivery into the box for Portugal. Cleared away. Not fully cleared though. Ronaldo holds it up. Lays it off well outside the box So it switches out to the left side for Neto. Goes for the early cross, but that one into the hands of Unai Simon and comfortably gathered by the Spanish goalkeeper. Again, Portugal applying that very high press. Spain are just getting out of it again. Yathabal dropping a little deeper, holding up the ball well. Pedri. Out wide it goes to Lamine Yamal. Gotta say, this is probably the spell of the game where Portugal have been at their brightest. But again, still Spain just look in control. Nico Williams tried a little one there, but run into a man and gives the ball away. Vitinha, down the right hand side it comes for Portugal again, with Bernardo Silva. Back inside of Bruno Fernandes, who will strike it from distance. Cries of handball from him. Referee sees no issue. So the ball comes back out wide with Nelson Semedo, who wins the throw-in off Marc Cucurella and gets the throw for Portugal. Trying the 1-2 there, Nuno Mendes with Bernardo Silva, but again, just didn't link it up well. That's what I mean about Portugal, is that Spain can switch things up and it still works. You know, Spain don't have to have it all rhythm kind of memorized in their head what they're going to do. They can work off instinct and still make it work, whereas Portugal, if it's not playing a certain way, it just seems like they're a little bit lost at times. Well, that was lovely from Nuno Mendes, to be fair, who has played very well tonight, both defensively and in attack. Has looked bright down that left side, Nuno Mendes. Probably been Portugal's best player so far. Vitinha down the right hand side. Bernardo Silva. Back to Vitinha. Outside again it goes. Semedo with the early cross. Well blocked by Cucurella. Out for the Portugal throw. On the far side. It's headed out by Cucurella. It's lovely from Nuno Mendes. Beautiful little skill. Skip away from his marker there. A little earlier on. Throw in for Portugal down the right side. Ball work back out wide to Nuno Mendes. Brought it down. It's still around out there somewhere as it comes loose. And Spain again the first to react with Pedri. So Huysen clears it away. Second ball won by Pedri. Very good directive header out to the left side for Nico Williams. Spain want to try a move again. Again it breaks down. A little bit of kind of confusion from the Spain players so far in that attacking area. Not able to keep the ball as well in the attacking third as they were in the first half. It's a very good challenge on Vitinha midfield. The ball comes out wide with Mingueza. Pedri. Ruiz, who will strike one. Good save by Diogo Costa, who parries it out. And Portugal will now try and take it under control, but they're not getting very far away with that Spain press at the moment. Again, you got to say, it's got a little bit more open in the last few minutes, and I don't know who that benefits more. Yamal. I think for Spain, it's all about just regaining a little bit of extra control. It's where they have their advantage. They've had a lot more of the possession in the second half, but it's been a little bit forceful when they've tried to get forward. It's not been as fluid in the first half, and there's another example of it, a ball right across the field by Fabian Ruiz. He was just a little bit tired, and see his shot from a little earlier. Great effort with his left, struck it well. Well saved by Diogo Costa for Portugal. Diogo Costa plays his football, of course, in Portugal with Porto. 25-year-old and had a very good season just gone, and wants to claim trophy success with his country. And trying to help them in doing so. There was another offside there against Ronaldo. Free kick to Spain. Zubamendi will take this free kick for Spain now. Ball goes all the way back. Here is Ayathabal, who's picking it up a lot deeper than his natural position. Nicely worked by Lenormand through the lines. Almost messing it up there, Spain, but Ayathabal there to recycle it to keep it alive. Pedri under pressure. Holds off the press well and finds it off to Zubamendi. Finding it off to Ruiz now. Spain trying to break out of that press. Nice work from Nico Williams out wide to Cucurella. Haven't really advanced up the field too much, but that's a lovely ball over the top, and Cucurella's made the overlapping run. The flag stayed down, he's fizzed it into the box. Nico Williams couldn't take it. Completely miscued it. Got nowhere near it in the end. That was much better, and it's Marc Cucurella on the overlap that caused all the threat. Open up the space and just offset the Portuguese defence. And it almost created a great chance for Spain as they gain a little bit of confidence from that moment. A little bit of extra momentum. Zubamendi again. Spain just maybe slightly taking grip of this game once more. Portugal had their little spell once at the start of this second half, but it just seems like Spain are just trying to settle with the possession again. There was an offside there against Marc Cucurella on that occasion. Neto playing it straight to Lamine Yamal, but he gets the bounce to the ball to get it back. The ball comes out to the right hand side here for Portugal. Trying to link it up down that side with Semedo. Back inside to Ruben Dias. Back to Inacio. And now Vitinha. Inacio. Dias. Down the right hand side it goes. Bernardo Silva. Dias, and now back to Inacio again. Well, Vitinha's dropped deeper for Portugal, making it more of a back three when they're in possession, and Nuno Mendes has left his man for dead here. Mendes across, little deflection, Ronaldo! Portugal are level again. Cristiano Ronaldo, like he did against Germany, gets Portugal second, and this time it's an equaliser once again, and Portugal are level. When Spain started to take a little bit more control of the game, it was Nuno Mendes that broke free down that left side. He left Mingueza for dead, and he fizzed it back across, and Cristiano Ronaldo acrobatically finding it past Unai Simon and giving Portugal a second. He does really well, Ronaldo, to adjust to the deflection of the ball that was delivered in. He got off the back of his man, Marc Cucurella, and just outstretched his leg to find it into the net. He's done that more than enough times before. And Cristiano Ronaldo gets Portugal's second. 2-2. And that fight back from Portugal is on again. It was Nuno Mendes intrinsically involved in the build-up, but it was all Cristiano Ronaldo. When is it ever not for Portugal? So often he's the one that steps up and delivers. 40 years of age, his 138th international goal. His 8th in 9 matches in the Nations League this season. And Ronaldo makes it 2-2 and gets this game right back into the balance. Luis de la Fuente's side have to do as they did twice before and try and retake the lead again. Or can Portugal really turn this into their favour and try and find a lead for the very first time tonight? There's less than 30 minutes to go. Who will be able to have the better of it to make the difference at such a crucial stage of this game? Oh, lovely little reverse ball in behind here for Spain. It's Pedri. He's dribbling his way through. Pedri! But the Aussie has the shot. A fabulous block by Nuno Mendes. Directs it wide for the corner as they take it quickly, Spain. Pedri, Yamal. Trying to up the tempo now are the European champions. Whipped in by Yamal. Punched away by Costa. And now Portugal maybe want to try and counter, but Cucurella blocking Neto. But fouling Neto in the process there. So a free kick to Portugal just inside their own half. Yeah, it was lovely from Pedri. Lovely little step inside, outside, inside, outside. And then had the shot eventually, and Nuno Mendes timed his challenge to perfection. Blocked it perfectly. And he is having an unbelievable game. The Portuguese left back. Got the first goal of the night for Portugal, that equaliser. Did Mendes then. Was heavily involved in their second goal and has done so much defensively. He's kept Lamine Yamal as quiet as he could tonight, and then with that block from Pedri amongst a couple of very good moments for him defensively. Nuno Mendes is having an incredible night so far for Portugal. As a free kick was won on that far right side for the Portuguese. Bruno Fernandes is the one that's standing over it. Just going to walk away now, Bruno Fernandes. Having a little conversation with one of his teammates there. I think Bernardo Silva it was. And so it will be Fernandes that will take this free kick. 25 minutes or so to go. Portugal 2, Spain 2 in this Nations League final. Getting more tasty as the minutes go on. Finally balanced this game of football. Fernandes, right-footed, whips the ball into the box. Headed clear by Huysen. And Fernandes will let it run for the throw. There was a check for a possible penalty. Ruben Diaz felt he was pulled to the ground. We'll see it again. Was he fouled? Yeah, it's soft for me. It certainly wasn't a penalty, and it was quickly checked and cleared by VAR. Portugal seemingly with the momentum now of this game. A lovely switch ball by Nuno Mendes, perfect. Lovely reverse ball by Bernardo Silva, bodies into the box, and the ball from Fernandes right at Unai Simon, who gets the grab. But for Portugal, they've just grown in confidence with that second equaliser, and their fans are celebrating once again, at the end of which they're attacking the Portuguese. that's going to be a free kick foul on Pedri there as he was taken to the ground. Well, you don't know what way this game's going to turn out. There's so much quality on this field of play from individuals that who knows what could turn out. That's the thing. Portugal have got so many very good individuals, and obviously Spain too, but I'd say Portugal might rely on individualism a little bit more than Spain, and Spain being so cohesive as a grouping, more likely to score like a team goal or a real good combination between players. Cucurella down the left channel here for Spain. Here's Nico Williams. Back to Cucurella. Still down that left channel. Mingueza getting it off quickly. Pedri out wide to Lamine Yamal. A little bit sharper from Spain. Yamal. Back to Mingueza. Ruiz. Just trying to open up a little bit of space with their passing, Spain, but Portugal rigid in their defence on that side as they will now just recycle it and move it across to the left. Dean Howson. Down the channel for Cucurella. Inside to Williams. Back out to Cucurella. Just keeping it moving, Spain. Trying to find any sort of gap in the Portuguese defence. Nico Williams. Cucurella again. To Howson. Mingueza. Finding Pedri. Swings it out wide to Nico Williams on the edge of the box. Nico Williams. Is he going to eye up a shot? He is! And it's not too far away from Nico Williams. You could see it from a mile off. He was going to try and eat that little bit of space and try and spin it towards the goal. And he wasn't too far away, Nico Williams. Goal kick to Portugal. I saw a comment there. Smash says, I think Ronaldo is better than Messi because Ronaldo can score against anyone, but Messi can only score against small teams in America. Well, I mean, have your opinion, Ronaldo or Messi. I'm not going to say, I mean, I do have an opinion, but I think they're both unbelievable players, and they've both proven that over the years. Ronaldo is the goal scorer. Messi is the more tricky, kind of skill-based player. They've both got their incredible attributes, but they've both scored unbelievable amounts of goals and just unbelievable players. So there's barely any in it, but only one of them's won the World Cup. That's all I'll say. One of them in this match, certainly Cristiano Ronaldo. He's getting his side, he got his side level. They're trying to get themselves ahead, although Lamine Yamal nips in with a good challenge. And then is fouled as he tried to brick towards the box there, the teenager. And Bruno Fernandes committing that foul. So a free kick to Spain. Yeah, it was nice work from Lamine Yamal just to intercept that. A little bit casual from Portugal there, and he was just tackled a little bit late. I mean, I'm not saying that anybody is wrong, but that's just my opinion. Again, everybody's free to have their opinion. Free kick to Spain. It's Yamal that's over it. It's Yamal that's taken it. It's Yamal that delivers. But Nelson Semedo did very well there defensively. Lovely touch by Bernardo Silva, but Marc Cucurella there tracking back well and steps in and intercepts. That wonderful move, or that lovely touch anyway, from Bernardo Silva. Christopher says, who do you think has been the most underrated player on the pitch so far? Oh, underrated. That's a good one. That's a good question. Get to that in a moment because Spain are making a good move here. Pedri tried to lay it off as he entered the box, but again, the amount of Portuguese bodies back there was always going to kind of stifle that one. It was good work from Ronaldo, dropping a little deeper to lay it out wide. There's a good move on here. Bernardo Silva's got Semedo for company. He's got Semedo and he gets it across, but too close to Unai Simon again. It was good work down that right side again from Portugal. Semedo and Bernardo Silva right on the same page, and Semedo's delivery just too close to this Spanish goalkeeper, who again grabbed comfortably. The most underrated player in this game. Well, I gotta say, I'm looking at the kind of ratings in front of me on this app here, and Nico Williams has a 6.7, which I think is very harsh for a player who's looked threatening off that left side. He's been very entertaining to watch. I think that's a little bit harsh, but I wouldn't say there's anybody that's been underrated. I think I've mentioned everybody that I think's done well. I've mentioned, and I mean, there's no doubt Nuno Mendes has been Portugal's best player so far, both defensively and in attack. What he's produced for Portugal tonight has been very impressive. Cucurella steps in well. Nico Williams, the flag stays down for the moment. The Portuguese defenders were calling for offside, and that decision eventually does come the way of Portugal. And we're going to see some changes for Portugal now, and Spain it looks like. Portugal are going to make this change. Going to see Renato Vega enter the field. He's going to replace Gonzalo Inacio. So Vega on for Inacio, and also coming on is going to be Rafael Leao, and he's going to replace the number 10, Bernardo Silva. So Vega and Leao coming on, replacing Inacio and Bernardo Silva. So a double substitution there for Portugal. They made a double sub at half-time as well, so they have one substitute left to make in this one. And Spain are going to make a change or two of their own at this juncture. So Pedri and Ruiz are off, and it's going to see Mikel Merino and Isco come back onto the field, or come onto the field anyway, as substitutes. So double sub there for Spain as well in that midfield, which clearly Luis de la Fuente wants a little bit more control. So both sides deciding to make changes with just over 15 minutes to go. Both want to try and find that extra little advantage that can get this game over the line. Here is Dean Huyson. Try to play it forward, a little bit loose there from Spain in possession. A couple of those sloppy little passes into the midfield in the second half. Remember, if it is level after 90 minutes, extra time and penalties to decide a winner. There's Rafael Leao involved again there in a move. He won the free kick for Portugal. It's a very interesting change, and one that could be a major threat to Spain, as Rafael Leao, with that pace that he has, and then Pedro Neto as well on the field. So there's certain pacey threat for Portugal in the wide areas. Vega, Vitinha, out wide to Leao here on the left-hand side. Trying to have a bit of help from Bruno Fernandes, but Leao's pass is a little bit overhit. Now Mikel Merino can get a good bounce on this and feed it wide to Nico Williams on the left-hand side. Williams switching it across to Lamine Yamal, who chops onto his left. Yamal Strikes it right at Diogo Costa. It's just a little bit of space on the inside for you, Lamine Yamal, and he did try and have that shot. But again, it was straight down the keeper's throat. Really. I would like to see a winner in 90 minutes. Just make it more entertaining. You want to see that late winner, but it could go either way as to who would get it. Here's Isco. Holding on to the ball well. Huysen, who will switch it back to Unai Simon. Mingueza. Moreno. Nice give and go there. As Isco tries to switch it out to Nico Williams on that left side again. A little under hit. And Portugal can recycle it all the way back to Costa. They're under pressure there, but nicely worked out. And Nuno Mendes now has space in front of him to try and get forward. Squares the ball across, which put Portugal in an awkward position in midfield, but they do keep the ball. Just about. As Neto goes back the way. Vitinha. Not Bernardo Silva, of course not. Ruben Dias there. Switch ball out to Rafael Leao from Ruben Dias. Leao swings it into the box, hangs it up at the back post, and headed behind by Marco Correa for the corner. There was a lot of bodies at the back post for Portugal. It was a beautiful ball by Rafael Leao. It was Nelson Semedo that was there along with Pedro Neto, but well defended by Marco Correa. He headed it well. It will be a corner to Portugal. Only their second corner of the night for the Portuguese. What can this delivery provide? Spain haven't been completely 100% all night. They've looked in control in moments, but Portugal have been able to fight back on 2 occasions against the Spaniards, but that might be a little glimmer of belief that they need, Portugal, to try and upset the European champions in trying to retain their trophy. Although Diogo Costa's gone down. I think he's pointing to his groin, so it might be a groin issue for Diogo Costa, which sees him down at the moment, so they'll have to stop the game to make sure he's okay before this corner is taken. Just over 10 minutes to go, of course, in this Nations League final. Portugal 2, Spain 2. Spain taking the lead twice, Portugal equalising twice. That man Cristiano Ronaldo is the latest scorer of this match so far. And when you've got Ronaldo in your team, you've always got a chance. Even at the age of 40, he is still doing it, and doing it to perfection. As Diogo Costa gets a bit of treatment, we do have this stoppage. Well, I did tell you that Spain haven't lost in a competitive game against Portugal since 2004. In the Euros, in the group stages of the Euros back in 2004. They won by a 1-0. And Nuno Gomez was the scorer on that occasion 21 years ago. And I can tell you, I was 6 days old when that game was played. 6 days old. So, Costa is up and okay after his treatment. So it will be a corner to Portugal that will be taken now. Right hand side. Be an out swinger. Right footed delivery, whipped in. Not cleared away as it goes all the way through and brought down by Lamine Yamal, who tried to break away but was given the foul as he was pulled back there. And it's going to be a yellow card for Pedro Neto. Yeah, Yamal has he's firmly gripped by Pedro Neto there. It's quite clearly a yellow card. Although Yamal's a little bit lucky that he didn't get one himself for brandishing the fake imaginary yellow card to the referee. I've seen that a lot more often recently. And if you try and do that to the referee to tell him to give someone else a yellow card, you get one yourself. Some form of dissent, I think, is what they're calling it now. Mingueza. Martin Zubimendi goes back to Lenormand. Now across to Huysen. Portugal, you got to say, in the second half have been much more solid defensively, although that's a good run. Here's Isco, who will hit one and forces a very good save off Diogo Costa. Really good run forward, and then it's laid off to Isco, who rockets it, and he forces a very good save out of Diogo Costa. It was dipping, and it dipped just perfectly for Costa to parry it away and over the bar. That was exactly what Spain needed in that moment. The corner taken short again. Yamal enters the box, swings it outside with his ice on his boot. Still not away, as it's going to be a foul to a Portuguese defender in there who was caught. But it was a good ball by Lamine Yamal. Just couldn't find a... Excuse me, apologies for this sniffling and stuff. I've apologised a number of times, but if you're wondering what's going on, yeah. It's just an inadvertent from Mikel Merino, but it is a foul. Oh, and goodness. Got a firm whack there, did Ruben Neves off one of his own teammates, actually. He was absolutely clattered. He's up and okay, but got a firm whack. A lot of belief for Portugal in the chat this evening. Can they do it and defeat the European champions? That's a lovely little flick. Is he offside here? It looks like he might be. Oh, it's cleared off the line anyway. He was offside nonetheless. Oyarzábal. I mean, he chipped the goalkeeper, but he looked like he was miles offside from the pass. He was. He was quite clearly offside from that back heel. That's why I wasn't getting too excited, and it was cleared just in case by Renato Veiga, but he was offside. Mikel Oyarzábal. Williams couldn't keep a hold of the ball on that occasion. Vitinha will switch it out to Rafael Leao on the left-hand side here. Leao. Nuno Mendes has the ball stolen away from him by Yamal. Lovely little touch by Lamine Yamal, who's body checked completely by Vitinha, and that's going to be a foul and a free kick to Spain. Lamine Yamal starting to win a couple of those physical battles and got the better of a couple of players there. And won the free kick fair and square off Vitinha. 5 minutes of normal time to go and then the additional time. If it is level after the final 90 minutes, it will be extra time and then penalties to possibly decide a winner. As it stands, Portugal 2, Spain 2. Zubimendi gives Spain the lead. Nuno Mendes equalised for Portugal. Oyarzábal then retook the lead for Spain just before half-time, before Ronaldo scored another equaliser for Portugal in the second half. And that's where we are, with a couple of minutes still remaining. As that was another foul and cheaply given away on Isco by Vitinha again. Isco, very well experienced. Huysen does well to swing it out wide to Cucurella. Lifting it off to Isco. He held on to it well. Trying to go for the switch ball out to Lamine Yamal. Well, that was very well intercepted by Nuno Mendes. And Leao linking up, but Yamal there to nip it back for Spain. It's a good tussle on that side. It's been all night, really, a good tussle as Ronaldo's gone down, which is a little bit of a concern. And he is frustrated. And I don't think Ronaldo does want to leave the field of play, but he's going to have to here as he knows he can't continue. And Gonzalo Ramos will be coming on in his wake. But no doubt Cristiano Ronaldo, as he always has done, as he always will do until he retires, can and does find the back of the net so often for Portugal. And tonight his goal is what is keeping Portugal in with a chance of winning this competition for a second time. His equalising goal in the second half. Ronaldo knows his night's up. But maybe the night can continue for Portugal in a positive light. As Bruno Fernandes gets the armband from Cristiano Ronaldo. And Gonzalo Ramos on to replace CR7. And with a couple of minutes of normal time to go, but with the reasonable expectation that we could be going to extra time if it stays as it is in this one. I do apologise, I thought I was going to sneeze there. You never know. Minute and a half of the 90 to go. Plus the additional. As Yamal tried the reverse ball for Oyarzabal to chase, but not on the same page there. And that goes all the way back to Diogo Costa. That's a foul. A little late on Gonzalo Ramos, who's only on the field. Dean Huyson committing that foul. Last minute of the 90. Portugal with it at the back here. Ball comes back across here to Vega. Diaz. Right wide it goes to the right hand side here. Again, not much forward play going on. And Portugal have it with their defenders at the moment. Diaz, who will play it right back to Costa. Now Vega. Finding it out wide to Leao. Linking up nicely. Little 1-2 with Nuno Mendes and Leao. Breaking forward and upended completely. And taken out there by Robin Lenormand, who gets himself a yellow card and a free kick to Portugal. Down this left-hand side. Yeah, it's simple enough. That was much better. Once again, from Rafael Leao, who's looked a bright spark since coming onto the field for Portugal. A real threat down that left channel. And a free kick on the wide right, the wide left of the field. It's Bruno Fernandes that's over it. Certainly within a shooting range for Fernandes, as we will only have 2 additional minutes at the end of the 90 here, so there's not much time remaining. We've already almost played a minute of that. Here's Bruno Fernandes with this free kick. Whips it! Punched away by Simon, and the deflection came to nothing as there was a goal kick anyway out of that. Yeah, the deflection came off a Portuguese player. Renato Vega. So last minute of the game. It's Unai Simon with a goal kick. Last 30 seconds before possible extra time. Looks very likely to be coming for us very soon here, unless there's a late winner. Spain with the attack at the moment as they go back with Marc Cucurella. There's no time to play backwards. They want to try and find a winner in 90 here. Huysen, the referee's certainly not going to add on any more time than he needs to, so this might be just fizzling out to extra time here. It is indeed. 2 minutes up, and it is extra time we are going to try and see a winner. Nothing could separate the two sides after 92 minutes here in Munich. Very well fought game overall in both halves. And at the end of normal time, it finishes Portugal 2, Spain 2. Extra time on the way in just a couple of minutes. Do stay with us. Welcome back to Nations League Final live here in LFS this evening. After 92 minutes, after normal time, it's finished Portugal 2, Spain 2. So no closer to finding a winner after the normal time. So extra time will be coming our way in just a moment. Two 15-minute halves, of course, 30 minutes in total of extra time. And if there is still no separation between the two sides after the extra time, then penalties will be needed to decide a winner. Right, thank you very much everybody for joining us in the chat this evening. Do like, subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. That would be greatly appreciated. We're hot-footing it towards 30,000. That's what we want, 30,000 subscribers. If we could get there, that would be fantastic. But thank you very much everybody who's joining us tonight. It's great to have you with us. And at the moment, we're no closer to finding out who's going to be the new Nations League winners. Of course, both of these sides have won the competition before. Portugal in 2019 and Spain the last time out in 2023, so both have experience in big finals and getting over the line in this competition, and Spain most recently so having to go all the way to penalties the last time they won this competition, beating Croatia in that final. And extra time is going to be needed again for these two sides if they're going to try and find a way to win once again in this competition. The extra time will be getting underway in just a moment. Ronaldo did have to come off just before the end of the game, end of the normal time, with a little issue. So it's not an injury as sorts, but he knew he couldn't continue any longer and did have to leave the field of play. But so Gonzalo Ramos came on in his place. So Portugal did have to make that change. There's the referee again waiting for the signal to restart the game and get extra time underway. As I said, 2 15-minute halves in extra time. We're getting our money's worth out of this Nations League campaign. Goals galore, late drama, comebacks, and going the full distance, it seems, in this final. Of course, extra time we know is guaranteed. Whether we will go to penalties or not, we'll of course still have to wait and see. Spain have good records in both penalty shootouts and in extra time. They know how to win in every which way to Spain, but so do Portugal. And that's what keeps it ever so finely poised over the next 30 minutes. Here's Rafael Leao out in this left side for Portugal. Battling, got the ball towards the box, but cleared away by the Spanish defence again. It was Isco that was helping the defenders there. Cleared it away. Portugal with the throw taken quickly. Vitinha not looking to drop any sort of tempo at the moment are Portugal. Oh, that's lovely. Ball into the box. The shot is hit wide by Nelson Semedo. Getham's good play wide here from Portugal. Down this left-hand side, we see it again. Lovely little run in behind. And then it's the fizz ball across, and Nelson Semedo couldn't finish. It was Nuno Mendes again with a delivery, and it's Semedo. Just kind of hits it, and then it bobbles up off his leg and goes wide. As more changes are coming for Spain. Nico Williams is going to be replaced by Alex Baena here. So Alex Baena coming on to replace Nico Williams, and it's going to see Pedro Porro also come on for Spain, and he's going to replace Mingueza at right back. So that's their third and fourth substitutions, but now with extra time both teams have 6 subs that they can use. Portugal have used 5, so they have 1 to use, and Spain still have 2 to use in total over the extra time if they wish. Over physical that time was Gonzalo Ramos on Robin Lenormand, so Spain get the free kick taken quickly. Of course, there's no hurry or rush. It's 30 minutes extra time. Dean Howson with it, ball over the top, nicely headed away by Vega, not very far though. Cucurella retrieves for Spain down this left hand side. Isco lays it off to Cucurella, and he tried to link it up there with Baena, but Semedo was there to block it out for the throw. And neither side want to drop that tempo. Both want to keep it high, both want to keep the ball moving and in play. They don't want to waste any sort of time, either of these two. Porro laying it off to Lamine Yamal down that right side as they switch it back to their defenders. Marino, Zubimendi, now Porro. Howson tried the ball down the left channel towards Isco, but foul was Nelson Semedo as Cucurella tried to win it back. So a free kick to Portugal on about the halfway line. Well, these two have gone all the way to penalties before in a competitive European competition. It was all the way back in 2012 at the Euros in the semi-finals of the European Championships back in 2012. And Portugal, after a 0-0 draw, Spain won by 4 penalties to 2. Iniesta, Piqué, Ramos and Fabregas all scoring in that shootout for Spain. As Portugal try and break down here to try and maybe avoid penalties with Rafael Leao here on this left side. Vitinha. Back it comes to Fernandez. Ball comes all the way out to Ruben Dias. 5 minutes gone of the first half of extra time here in Munich. Portugal 2, Spain 2. As Ruben Dias does well to feed it down the right side for Neto. Inside to Semedo and has to reverse it back to Ruben Dias again, but Neto gets it out in the right side once more. Trying to find a way through the Spain defence, but Alex Baena gets back across and wanted the foul there, Neto, but referee sees no issue as he's just going to stop the game to check upon Pedro Neto as he was holding his head there. So yeah, it's not a foul. It's just a coming together between Pedro Neto and Alex Baena. Well, Spain did, of course, progress through the quarterfinals via a penalty shootout. They actually went into the extra time in that game against the Netherlands at 2-2. Both sides scored in extra time. Made it 3-3 after extra time, and then Spain won by 5 penalties to 4 against the Netherlands. Pedri scoring the ultimate winning penalty in that quarter-final tie against the Netherlands. Nice little move there in the midfield. Here's Yamal on the right side for Spain. Chops it back inside, linking up well with Porro. Back to Yamal, and Porro again goes for the early delivery towards Uyathabal, not cleared away. Falls for Cucurella, who hits one, but hits it over the bar. Does the Spanish left back, and it goes for a goal kick. Again, it wasn't convincing from Portugal defensively there. They didn't clear the lines anywhere near well enough, and it fell to Cucurella on the edge of the box, and he just couldn't keep the shot down. Good mark, Cucurella. Spain didn't have a massively great penalty shootout record over the years, but they have won their last 2 penalty shootouts in competitive competitions, and they've both actually come in the Nations League. In the quarterfinals, obviously against the Netherlands, and then in the last penalty shootout Spain were involved in was in the Nations League finals 2 years ago when they won the competition against Croatia. So recent form for Spain in a shootout is positive for Portugal. They lost their last penalty shootout, of course, against France in the quarterfinals of the Euros last summer. But then they also had a penalty shootout 4 days earlier than that against Slovenia and progressed on penalties from that. So it's a bit topsy-turvy from Portugal's point of view in terms of a shootout. Here comes Rafael Leao bursting through. Leao brought down. Referee waves away any sort of penalty claims as Spain break away with the ball. And it's a real brawl here. It's all boiled over. And Nuno Mendes is absolutely furious. And there was a Spanish player on the ground. I couldn't quite see who it was. I think it might be Baena, but it absolutely boiled over. And I don't know what came of that. The referee has some sorting out to do here. I couldn't quite see what happened. We got the breakaway trying to countered Spain, and then there's a whole brawl of players. Nuno Mendes gets a yellow. Alex Baena gets a yellow. Both colliding and talking between themselves and got a bit physical there as Bruno Fernandes is... I don't know what Bruno Fernandes is over to have a look at and chat with the referee about, because it's not acceptable. All that type of stuff. But, I mean, that's not a penalty, though. That's really poor from Nuno Mendes, I gotta say. I mean, he's not touched initially. Baena doesn't really touch him at all. And he throws himself to the floor. I mean, that's just embarrassing, really. I mean, for a player who's had such a great game, and now there's a potential red card check ongoing here. I don't know whether it's who it's for, but there's a potential red card check ongoing from the VAR. Both players, Alex Baena and Nuno Mendes, got yellow cards on the field. And I think the referee is just going to see that that's going to stay as it is. And the check is complete. We'll see this again. Nuno Mendes then comes charging away, and then Baena just shoves him to the ground. I mean, that's just... And then it all just kicks off, and Leao gets involved, Mendes gets involved, and then it's Baena that goes to ground. I mean, it's all just ridiculous, really. Ridiculous. I mean, just wise up. Get a grip of yourselves. 11th minute of the first half of extra time, so a couple of minutes to go before we're halfway through the extra time here. Yamal, a little bit bobbly his pass, which allows Portugal to break away here. Leao trying to break into the box. He's still going, Rafael Leao. And the last touch came off a Spanish defender. It will be a Portuguese corner. He has absolutely burst into life here. He's been incredible since he's come onto the field, Leao. He's completely turned this game, and I gotta say, in Portugal's favour. He's looked such a threat down that side. I mean, Guedes wasn't able to cope with him, and neither is Pedro Porro since he's come onto the field. So Leao involved as the Spanish fans are maybe throwing some stuff onto the field, some bits of paper or whatever it is, to try and offset the Portuguese corner. There's no need for that. That's just really silly. Throwing stuff onto the field of Ruben Dias is quite clearly and rightfully making that point. As the corner's taken short, Leao steps inside onto his right foot. Got to lift it into the box, but that massively overhit. And now Spain want to burst away. Lamine Yamal tried to feed it out wide, but well intercepted by Vitinha, who spotted it coming. And now on the breakaway, but that's a late challenge by Lamine Yamal, and that's going to be a free kick. And that is going to see Portugal with a good opportunity here in a higher area. But again, it's Leao. He was just a little bit late there, Lamine Yamal. Does he get the man first? He does. He just catches Leao. It is a foul. I gotta say, Rafael Leao has given the Spanish players a real torment since coming onto the field. And if Portugal are going to win this, they're going to have to thank Rafael Leao, because he has changed the momentum of this game massively. Free kick to Portugal, left-hand side. Good distance out. There's three players looking to take it. Vitinha, Nuno Mendes and Bruno Fernandes. They're all over it, but Vitinha steps away, and so does Mendes. So it's Fernandes who will lift it. It is Mendes who gets it across, and half cleared away. Cucurella lifts it away. And then Neto back in, the diving header. It's straight at Unai Simon from Nuno Mendes. And the offside flag was up anyway against Nuno Mendes there. He was just maybe offside. Here's Lamine Yamal. who for his incredibly high standards has been a little bit quiet on the goal front tonight. Not had any major good chances, you'd got to say. Lamine Yamal, he's been possession-wise, threat-wise, down the right side, it's always a threat from Lamine Yamal, but in terms of output, I mean, I'm not trying to criticise him, but that's maybe could be a worry for Portugal, the fact that he hasn't had one of those big, clear-cut goal-scoring chances as of yet, Lamine Yamal. And he's always got one in him. Could that be a worry for Portugal as we edge closer to half-time and extra time? You've got to say it is Portugal with the momentum. A lovely little reverse ball by Isco. Out wide to Yamal. Up against Mendes. Yamal steps inside. Goes early. Lays it off, but he wins it back well as it was a little bit loose. And Yamal with a shot! From a long range. Goodness me. And he strikes it right at Diogo Costa, but that was some effort from long range. As we will have one additional minute at the end of the first half of extra time. I mean, he stepped inside and I thought he's going to try and pass this off. And he just hit it. I apologise if I scared anybody with that. Because that came out of nowhere from Lamine Yamal. And it was ultimately right at the Portuguese goalkeeper as the game's got a little bit open. Obviously with the time of the game that it is, it's not going to be crisp and sharp and clean. It's going to be a little bit more scrappy, with fatigue starting to set in with a couple of players and both teams. It's going to be about the little fine margins as we hit half-time and extra time. It's 15 minutes or penalties that will decide the winner of this one. That's where we sit. With 15 minutes to go in this Nations League final, it is still Portugal 2, Spain 2. But who could get it? We will find out. 15 minutes still remain of extra time. We'll be back for that second half in just a moment. Welcome back to the Nations League final live here in LFS this evening. It is still Portugal 2, Spain 2. Half-time and extra time, so 15 minutes to go for one of these two to find a winner. Or we're heading to penalties, and Spain are going to make a change in a moment. But let's tell you that we have the Club World Cup coming your way next Sunday. We start with the game between Bayern Munich and Auckland City. That's next Sunday at 5 o'clock kickoff, UK time, of course. As Jeremy Pino is coming on and Lamine Yamal is coming off for Spain. So that's very interesting. Very interesting there. We've got to say it's Portugal that have the momentum, because that first half of extra time they were certainly the better of the two sides. Neither side could make the difference so far, as they're going to make a change of their own here. Portugal, Diogo Jota is coming on, and he's going to be replacing Pedro Neto. So Neto off and Jota on for Portugal, and Jeremy Pino on for Spain, replacing Lamine Yamal. So both sides made changes at half-time and extra time, so 15 to go. If there's no goal to separate either side at the end of the 120 minutes, it will be penalties to decide a winner. That's what we have at stake. Penalty shootout that carried Spain to victory 2 years ago. Could it be deja vu again, or can Portugal use their momentum that they've garnered in the first half of extra time to find a winner in the extra time that we still have remaining? Cucurella. Nice little reverse ball down the line. Isco. Trying to combine it, are Spain, and they're working it well there. It's worked across the back line. Porro. Excuse me. Marino laid it out wide to Cucurella. Back inside it comes. Nice little 1-2 link up here. Cucurella trying to cross, blocked. Gets it again. It's the Chelsea left back. Spain a little bit more positive with their play there. The ball brought back out to Pino on that right hand side. Back towards Heysen. Isco holding on to the ball well, the 33-year-old, trying to get the better of his man. Spain keep the ball moving again down this left side. But caught in possession there with a good press from Portugal. They try and press it back, Spain, but it's broken into space for Portugal here. And Jota recycles it to Semedo. Now out wide to Rafa Leao, who was challenged and fouled. Free kick to Portugal down the left-hand side. Interception there for Porro, who tried to beat the keeper. Oh, he saw the space open up and Costa was off his line, but it goes over the bar. But for a split second I was wondering what Pedro Porro was doing, and then I spotted the keeper off his line, and he saw it too, and he just tried to beat the keeper quite audaciously there, Pedro Porro, and it goes over the bar. He wasn't miles off. Was Porro. Well, Spain have won in extra time recently. It was in the Euros quarterfinals last year, and they needed a Mikel Merino 119th minute winner to progress past Germany in the quarterfinals. That was ended up 2-1. I remember commentating on that game. Portugal have overcome extra time more recently than Spain. They progressed past Denmark at the quarter-final stage through extra time. In the end, it was 3-2 to Portugal on the night, but on the aggregate, it was 3-3. It went to extra time, and Portugal scored twice in extra time to win that against Denmark in the quarter-finals. Here's Pedro Porro for Spain. Right side, cross blocked and cleared away by Ruben Dias, and now Leao wants to burst away, but Porro's on the scene, and Porro with a late challenge is going to get himself a yellow card there for a cynical foul on Rafael Leao. There's going to be no second guessing in Pedro Porro's mind that he was going to give away a foul there. He wasn't going to let Rafael Leao break away without any consequences. 10 minutes to go. Portugal 2, Spain 2. Roberto Martinez has also been given a yellow card for something. See that goal from Mikel Oyarzabal in the first half as he's going to be replaced here. And that's going to be their 6th and final substitution. It's going to see Alvaro Morata enter the fray. Alvaro Morata, who held to that centre-forward role for quite a lot of the Euros last summer. And to real great prevail for the Spaniards. It was an unbelievable performance from them in the groups. And Morata was leading the line. He just had that cohesion with everybody around him and that understanding with his teammates. Alvaro Morata, but niggly injuries here and there over this season has really hampered him in the league season. He's played just made 5 appearances in the Nations League this season. Wasn't involved in the semi-final. Didn't come off the bench in the semi-final against Spain or against France. Actually wasn't involved either in the second leg of the quarter-final against the Netherlands. Well, Alvaro Morata's last international goal actually came in the Nations League against Serbia in the groups back in October. That was his last international goal. Just trying to fill the time with a little bit of stats padding at the moment. Here's Isco. Reverses it to Baena, who will go for the cross, and the header is directed well wide by Jeremy Pino in the box there, and Nuno Mendes was the one trying to cover him, and the header goes behind for the goal kick. It was ballooned by Jeremy Pino. We couldn't get any direction on it whatsoever, and it was nowhere near the target. Time is starting to run out, and Leao again brought to the ground. This time just a foul. I say how good a form Portugal or Spain have been on. I mentioned at the start, Portugal have only lost 1 of their 9 Nations League games this season. And that was a first leg against Denmark in the quarter-final. They were unbeaten in the groups, 4 wins, 2 draws from their 6 group games, including a game against Croatia and against Scotland where they got their 2 away draws, but won all of their home games against Poland, against Scotland and Croatia in the groups. You've got to say, Portugal, along with Spain, have been quite consistent over recent times. You've got to say a number of other teams, the 2 that were knocked out in the semi-finals, France and Germany, just haven't had that consistency over the season, over the last year, even since the Euros. They just haven't been, and you've got to say Portugal were a bright spark in the Euros last year. They couldn't overcome the penalties against France in the end, but they were a positive side last year in the Euros, and Spain were just too strong for everybody in the campaign. I mean, even England in the final. But I think it's a very fair and apparent final that both sides deserve to be in. Arguably, both sides would deserve to win, but only one can. That's the way football goes. Both sides have been here and done it. The one thing about Portugal, though, is they've only been in one previous Nations League final and they won that. Spain have had both ends of the stick, losing and winning in a Nations League final. Here is a ball across from Baena. Cleared away. It seems like Spain have wrestled back control in this second half of extra time. They've been the better side. So Portugal had the better of it in the first half of extra time, but it's Spain that have won the ball back, and certainly won the control back in the game, and with 5 minutes of this extra time remaining before penalties will be needed to separate the two sides. They're certainly getting the ball wide, Spain, and making it count. Getting those crosses in, asking questions of what will be a fatigued Portuguese defence. No doubt about that. Baena. Porro to make the run down the right side on the overlap. Gets the early cross in. Bouncing ball. Tested down by Semedo and cleared out, but only as far as a Spain throw on the left-hand side. Spain with a lot more intent, I gotta say. The second half of normal time, I think they were a little bit laboured. I just think they just let it slip a little bit. And even in the first half of extra time, they're just a bit back-footed. Cross in, digged in by Pino, cleared away. Again by the Portuguese defence. A little bit of one-way traffic at the moment. It's Spain on the attack and Portugal defending. Isco steps away from his challenge. Swings the ball out wide to Jeremy Pino. He's got Porro for cover. Pino steps inside, rolls it on the reverse to Morata, gets it across. And the clearance by Ruben Dias in the box keeps Spain at bay. Luis de la Fuente in conversation with his assistant there. What can they conjure up in the final 3 minutes? What can either side find for what seems to be inevitable in a penalty shootout? But we don't know yet. There's still time for either side to win it in extra time. Long throw by Nuno Mendes. Spain get it well clear of any sort of danger, and that was actually well worked as they won the foul through Isco on Bruno Fernandes. So a free kick to Spain. House Cucurella. Martin Zubamendi. Breaking into space, dribbling past a man, lays it out wide, and neither here nor there between Isco and Jeremy Pino. And the ball goes rolling out for a throw-in on the far side. Again, it was a good run by Martin Zubamendi, but not on the same page as either of the two players ahead of him. And the attack comes dribbling away to a Portuguese throw deep in their own half. Again, Spain winning the aerial duel, getting the ball down quickly. Cucurella. Portugal are just not able to get any of the ball at the minute. Even from their own throw-ins, it's all Spain control. You can have all the control in the world. Spain need to try and find that winner if they can. That's a lovely ball in behind, but too far away from Baena and nicely smothered by Diogo Costa, who spotted the danger. It was a nicely worked run by Baena in behind, as Leao was challenged again, and it will be a Portuguese throw. Last touch off a Spanish player. As they go backwards, Portugal. Vitinha. Last minute of the 120. I would guess we would have additional time at the end of that, but there's not much left. Is there a winner in this? Will it be the ultimate decider that will be needed? So a couple of seconds away from finding out if there's going to be any additional time. I would suggest there is, because the fourth official has his board ready. maybe a minute or two to add to the end of the 120 here. And there will be one additional minute at the end of the 120. One more minute. Portugal have the ball. Semedo. Down the right side. Semedo chops it back to Vitinha. Holds on to it well. There's bodies in the box here for Portugal. Could they snatch it at the end? Lifted ball into the box. The header by Diogo Jota is over the bar. Barely had a chance in the second half of extra time, Portugal. And with probably one of the last great moments of the the extra time. Great ball by Ruben Dias, and the header by Diogo Jota goes flying over the bar. And there's barely seconds left in this one. Unai Simon to kick at the ref, looks at his watch and blows the whistle. 120 minutes tonight, and we head to a penalty shootout to decide the winner of the 2025 Nations League. Neither side could be separated. Both had their spells of dominance, spells of chance creation, but neither side could add a third to their tally. And after extra time, it is finished. Portugal 2, Spain 2. A penalty shootout is on the way in just a moment. Welcome back to the Nations League final here in LFS this evening with me, Caoimhan Ferris. Great to have you with us for this one after extra time. It's finished Portugal 2, Spain 2, and we are heading to a penalty shootout to decide a winner. We will see whether one of of these two sides can get over the line and get the job done in this one. We will see in just a moment, because we are about to get that penalty shootout underway for you. After a 2-2 draw in extra time. The penalty shootout will be commencing very shortly. As we get the graphic up on our screens, let's get ready to bring you that then. We await the penalty shootout to decide the winner. Both sides have won this competition before. Spain, quite ironically, won it through the same means of a penalty shootout back in 2023. A 5-4 penalty shootout win after a 0-0 draw with Croatia carried Spain to their first title in this competition. But Portugal, the inaugural winners, they were the first team to win this competition all the way back in 2019. And they want to claim their second title. They, of course, beat the Netherlands 1-0 in a final. all the way back then. But tonight, it's Portugal or Spain. And it will be Portugal that will be taking a penalty first. It's Gonçalo Ramos who is up for this one first. Let's see then. Gonçalo Ramos. All the pressure of the first penalty, at the end of which the Portugal fans reside, up against Unai Simon. Ramos to step up, the number 9 for Portugal. Whistle goes from the referee. Ramos with a run up. Ramos right down the middle. The keeper dived out of the way, did Unai Simon. And Portugal score their first penalty. That's the perfect start. And Gonçalo Ramos, the man to convert it. Right down the middle. Fabulous. Now Spain's chance to respond. It is Mikel Merino to step up for Spain, to try and respond, to restore parity in the shootout. The Arsenal midfielder stepping up in a shootout. Merino finds the bottom right corner. 1-1. And the Spanish side of this stadium celebrates as they level. Yeah, it's a very well taken penalty. Costa dove to his right side, and Mikel Merino put it in the opposite corner of the empty side of the net. Next up, Vitinha for Portugal, another midfielder ready to take. Played a lot of the game, certainly in the latter stages of this game, in a defensive role. Now, a spot kick to give Portugal the lead in the shootout once again. 2 taken, 2 scored so far. 1 apiece. Vitinha next to step up for Portugal. Up against Unai Simon. The whistle's already gone. It's up to Vitinha now to make the run up. It's Vitinha. His slow run up. He tries to beat the keeper and he does. Wonderful penalty into the inside netting. A lot of height behind it. There was no stress in Vitinha. Unai Simon dived the right way, but the height and the accuracy of it left it no chance for Simon to save. Long way to go though. Alex Baena up next for Spain to try and level again. It's Spain's angst of going second in a shootout. You have to always respond to what the other does. Alex Baena, and rolls it into the corner. The same corner Mikel Merino found to level. Alex Baena finds it to level for Spain again. 2-2 in the shootout. And Diogo Costa has dove the wrong way on both occasions. And coolly taken penalties by Spain. Bruno Fernandes is next for Portugal. Man United supporters know very well his penalty-taking technique. Ronaldo can't bear to look. He's usually taking one of these. Not tonight. Bruno Fernandes took the armband off Ronaldo when he left the field. Can he step up like a captain in the shootout? Bruno Fernandes against Unai Simon. Little hop, a skip and a jump. And he finds the nets. Lovely from Bruno Fernandes. Bottom left corner. Simon had no chance. He dove the wrong way. And again, it's advantage Portugal once more. 5 penalties taken between the two sides, and all 5 of them scored. You do not want to be the first one to miss one. That's certain. Next up is Isco. A very well-experienced player. No doubt about that, the 33-year-old. Can he make it 3-3 in the shootout? Isco with a little run up, and he finds it past Diogo Costa, who dove the right way, but he just couldn't palm it out. And it's kept in, and Spain have their leveller again. 3-3. He got the height behind it. Costa got a really good dive on it, but his left hand just couldn't parry it away. And that was just squeezing in from Isco. Agonising for Diogo Costa. Next up, Nuno Mendes has probably had one of his best games in a Portugal shirt tonight. Can he score a penalty to give them the lead again in the shootout? Nuno Mendes, one of the candidates for player of the match. The left footer. Little run up. And finds the top corner. That is gorgeous. What a penalty. Best of the night. Best of the night, Nuno Mendes. 4-3. What a penalty. Simon dived the right way, but there's no saving this. Top corner. Lovely penalty. In such a high-pressured moment. A very well-taken penalty by Nuno Mendes. And again, it's Spain that have to respond. The pressure of having to be the responder. To try and keep it parity. Alvaro Morata. To make it 4-4. Morata stepping up. And it's saved by Diogo Costa. He got so close on the last Spain penalty. But this time he makes sure it doesn't get past him. And he makes a very crucial save. Score and they win for Portugal now. It wasn't a great penalty by Morata. Far too central, far too low. Perfect for a goalkeeper. And Diogo Costa wasn't letting that one past him. And now, it's all on Portugal. Score, and you beat the European champions, and you win your second Nations League. It is all on this. It's Ruben Neves to win it. Neves does win it for Portugal. The penalty goes in the opposite corner of the goalkeeper. And a 5 penalty shootout for Portugal wins them the Nations League. They fought from behind twice in the game. They could not take the lead in the game, but they took it all the way to a shootout, and they claimed victory against the European champions. Portugal never gave up the fight, and that is the result. They never gave up. They always fought to the death, and scoring 5 out of 5 penalties is how you do it in a shootout. There is no way you can stop that. Ronaldo, emotional. He couldn't bear to look, but he can bear to look now. Portugal, for the second time, are the Nations League winners. The first team to win it for a second time, and Spain dethroned of their crown in the most torrid way. A penalty shootout defeat. Alvaro Morata's missed penalty set up the moment and set up the winning moment for Ruben Neves. And he did not miss it. He made it look easy. And look at those emotions from Cristiano Ronaldo. When they were knocked out on penalties last summer in the Euros, it was tears of pain and heartache for Ronaldo. Almost 12 months later, they conquer the European champions in a penalty shootout, in a final, to claim silverware, and it's tears of joy for Cristiano this time. Portugal are the 2025 Nations League winners under Roberto Martinez. They have beaten Spain by 5-3 on penalties after a 2-2 draw. What a thrilling final, and congratulations to our champions, Portugal. They're back on the European scene, at the top of the European field, and they have dethroned the reigning holders of their title. Spain wanted to make history, but it was Portugal's night to make history. And the desolation on the faces of those Spanish players. They've known so much success over recent years that they always have to be brought back down to earth and realise that it's not always going to win. You're not always going to get the desired result. And Portugal who've had their fair share of pain in European competition and international competition over the number of years since they were European champions 9 years ago. Their name engraved onto the trophy for this time. Congratulations to Portugal. They are the Nations League winners for 2025. Thank you very much for joining us for this one this evening. It's been fantastic to be with you for this one. A reminder for you, our Club World Cup coverage starts on next Sunday, 5 o'clock. Bayern Munich against Auckland City gets the Club World Cup underway here on LFS. Over 30 games live over the next month. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Portugal are the champions. What more do you want to say? That's it. They've beaten Spain in a penalty shootout. And they dethroned Spain of being the Nations League winners. It's Portugal with their second title in this competition. They have done it again, and they've done it in a shootout. Thanks for your company. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.